Hello everyone, Adrian here, and this time I'd like to tell you about, because I finally got enough confidence in the work to be talking about it, my thesis. Now the thesis is one of those dark, mysterious leviathans that's hiding in the back of Shimer academia. You know it's coming up your 4th year, but you don't really talk about it. You just sort of have to figure out the labyrinth for yourself. Well, that's not entirely true. You've got your Ariadne, you've got your threads, you've got people who've gone there before you. So, thesis. In general, I don't want to say it can be anything you want, but it should be reflective of what you've gotten out of Shimer and geared towards your particular interests. I mean, especially maybe if you want to go ahead and publish it later, or if you want to get into graduate school. If you've done a thesis that's geared toward the interests of that future, well then, all good. I myself have chosen to do a novel for my thesis. Now some of you may be thinking, what? That's not going to get you to graduate school. Graduate school is not my goal. My goal with this novel is to try to encompass everything, well, not everything, but I've tried to encompass the salient aspects of my time at Shimer. And I've found, especially going through the humanities courses at Shimer, that fiction can be a vehicle for so much more than what is on the page. It's very different for me than writing a more expository or a philosophical treatise, because the reader of fiction can get much more out of the story, can read so much more into it than I could ever put into it. And for me, it's a little bit harder to pack that depth of meaning and emotion and intention into a more expository essay. So, I have a novel. And the novel is centered around the stories of a father and a daughter and their various confrontations with their own psyches and their struggles to overcome themselves, basically. I mean, that's a bit of an abstract of it. The story itself, you'd have to read it. I'm still a work in progress, but what I've got is the story itself, and then an abstract explaining my intention and the various ideas in it, and the process of writing it, the narrative reflection. And from that, I'll be turning it in within a month, either to defend it or simply to turn it in, depending on when I get it finished. And the process itself has really been wonderful. I felt that I'd fallen out of touch with my creative writing side when I went through Shimer, because I came to Shimer thinking, oh, I'm going to write novels. I'm going to be a creative fiction writer. And about halfway through Shimer, after all the essays I'd written, I thought, I can't write fiction again. But this thesis came around and I discovered, well, maybe I can. I can't coast by on my writing ability anymore, possibly like I used to in high school, where I just churn something out and it would be great. Working on a thesis has really shown me, well, there's that grace of writing initially, and then you have to work on it, and then you work on it, and then you work on it, and then what the product of that is something so much better than any grace of writing could have produced. And so that's what the thesis process has been for me. It's been a transition from grace to work. Hopefully, your own thesis, should you be writing one, will be an equally rewarding process, as it has been for me.